right, well, we took a break after the bridge. Now we're gonna go do fence. We're gonna repair fence. So I like to get the fences done every now and then so the animals don't scratch their eyes. So Gatlin's getting his driver's license right now. Hey, hello. So same principle as a big vehicle, but slightly different. You gotta hold in the brake when you turn the key.
All right.
All right. There you go. You can let off now. So it's got a clutch that's on a belt, so it doesn't roll like a car will. But you notice it's in gear right now. So just drive out underneath this tree. There's no seat belts.
Okay.
There are no seat belts.
So you said there's a clutch or
no clutch, no nothing. You just, as you press the gas, the belt will compress. The clutch is automatic, and it'll lurch forward, but then drive. You got it.
Sure,
yeah, keep going. You'll want to go right in between the tree and the trailer. And what you'll do is, as soon as you get to the driveway, you'll turn and go up that way.
To the right?
Yeah, and we'll start following the fence. We're gonna pull down all that old electric wire. We're gonna get rid of those yellow insulators, and then anything that's broken, we'll go ahead and take care of as well.
Right.
And things like that, you can just drive right through it. It won't matter.
This is fast it goes?
No, it'll do 70, but I put a regulator on it so to keep it under 20. But once you get out there, you can go, you know, once you get straight and through the gate, just floor it and you'll see.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got a little pick 'em up juice. What you're looking for is the broken wires. So when you see a broken wire, you can just take your foot off the gas. It's got a brake clutch, but if you need a hard stop, you can use the brake. But usually it'll coast to a stop. And then any of those yellow things, we're gonna pull those off the pipes too. Right, those used to be an old insulator. All this old scraps of wire that I've been pulling out of the ground, we're gonna throw in the bed at back of this thing. Just clean it up so the animals don't get hurt, and fix the brakes. So, yeah, there's a brake. All right, perfect.
Turn the key.
Yeah, you can turn it off. And those yellow things are super hard to get off the pipes. I mean, all I do is just torque at them. And see, like that one, I don't know if I left it or not. But I'm trying to clean up, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to leave a bunch of, you know, did I hit play? Yeah, I did. Record. Just walk down and Gatlin and just, you know, anywhere we see these. But I'll teach you to do this right now. There's a lot of ways of doing wire. This is the way I don't like to do it. Whoever fixed it last time. But it's the way most ranchers tell you is right. But I don't like to do that. So see, what happened is the bulls came through here fighting.
Yeah.
And they broke it. And so a lot of people will crimp repair in here. I don't think that lasts. So I'll get my gloves and show you how I do it.
All right.
So what I do, you know, obviously the crimp, I'll cut that off. So what I do is I unravel the wire, back about 6 inches, 8 inches, and then I braid in the solution. That way I'm not buying anything. I'm just using what wire is there. So, you know, I just unravel it. And then if I can grab the other side, I'll just weave it in. But sometimes I can't, right? So see how this is all broken? So I'll have to pull this staple out. First time.
Well, I have a better video on this this without me blocking it. Right here, I'm just teaching Gatlin how to do this. So, you know, his presentation's for him. But basically, I splay those two pieces of wire apart. Then I braid one strand over it and the other strand over that in opposite directions. One clockwise, one counterclockwise. I do that on both ends. Then I don't need any extra grommets. I don't need ferrules. I don't need special expensive crimping devices. And I find if I pull this tight, it spreads the load out over a longer surface area. So you can pull them a little bit tight. Now, I'm careful not to tighten these too much, these old strands, because you break them. But that's what I'm doing. I'm just weaving two kinds of barbed wire together.
I already got you, Gatlin.
Whoopsie. I did not see that. I was too focused on here.
Barbed wire. It really does have a mind of its own. All right, you want to grab it like right there and just put a little tension, look down the line, make sure that it's not real floppy. I'll do the same over
Here's a help here. He's pulling the tension in the line so that it's a little tighter. Now I could have a fence stretcher, do this with a fence stretcher. I've got one, but I find setting it up and getting it to hold on with these old strands and not going too tight and breaking them. Just a human touch seems to make do, and later on I'll show you how I tighten them anyway. But so he's holding on to it with the pliers and giving me a little tension there so the line doesn't just flop down. But I just twist these by hand all together. I leave the little end up like a barbed wire. That's all I do on it, so nothing fancy. But I am teaching Gatlin here. He's picking up pretty fast. He's a quick learner. He's a young man. He's not a late teen. He's an early teen kid just heading into getting his driver's permit. So there'll be opportunity. I'm going to let him drive a little bit more. The more you let kids drive, the safer the world is for them and the happier we all are. So I'm happy to have him here. He's driving around today. I'm not driving nothing. But there's that strand all bended up. You hardly even notice.
All right. Now this is how I pull it tight if I need to. So once you find a post is where you do it. Well, after you do the post, if you give them a little crimp like that, Ben, they'll do that. So let me get the hammer and a staple. Would you grab the split end there and just pull it tight for me?
Split end?
Yeah, just grab it here and just lean against it. All right, and let's do it the opposite direction. So grab it this way and pull the fence that way.
Okay.
Over here on this side, got one. And then when I want to make them tight, what I do from this point on is I've pulled all the slack into this spot. I physically just kind of drive a nail into it against the post, right?
Right.
So, in fact, you could do that, Gatlin. That's good. I dropped the staple somewhere in here. Hope I lost it, huh? Well, gone forever.
Yeah, good.
It's really hard to drive those staples, so it's good practice for you. Go running, and it ran into a piece of barbed wire dangling like this. And the barbed wire went right through its eye into its brain, killed it instantly.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, it was terrible. When you see that once, it sticks with you how dangerous bad fence is,
Yeah.
And for me, it was in Michigan, middle of winter, so I couldn't even bury the thing. I had this dead goat that I had figure out what to do.
Well, I've got a playful nature, so I gave Gatlin here the hardest of jobs to do. Keep tension on a wire and driving a staple. Listen, I don't even know if he's ever picked up a hammer before he showed up out to the farm. I did not ask him for his extensive resume. This is a boy's first job, and when you hire a young man, your job is to help him. And they're not ready for an 8-hour day. They're not ready to be yelled at. They're not ready to do a lot of things. And we forget as we get older what it was like for us when we had our first job. And hopefully we had a good boss, a good teacher. I had good ranchers. They are all kindly, a little ornery. And so I'm a little ornery to this young man. I tease him a smidgen and all in good fun, letting him know. But this is the hard job. And if you'll notice there, I'm using a hatchet hammer. So you got that sharp edge to intimidate you on top of it. But driving these staples in, if you've never driven a staple into a fence, you have no idea how hard this is. So I let this run with Gatlin regular speed so you can appreciate his struggle. Now I'm watching him out of the corner of the eye while I'm fixing fence down the way. I'm wiring all the fences. There was dozens and dozens and dozens of the wire straps out, so I'm fixing all them as I'm going and listening to him just
every spring. Knock holes in the fence. I told you it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard to get the right angle.
It's really hard. He's still working on that staple.
I'm trying to get it in there without, one, hurting myself, and two,
no, it's hard.
get it in there.
It's surprisingly hard.
Well, can you hold this area over here, like pull on it a little bit, so I can get more room to. Come on. So right there. I need more.
You want me to do this one,
Yeah.
my friend?
Yeah, I can't get the right angle.
No, I set you up on that one.
Oh,
It
did you?
really is hard to do.
You're gonna do it in half.
No, I'll do it, but I won't do it in half the time.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, that's how I pull them tight.
All right.
After the fact, is I
I'll get
physically do that.
I'll get it next time.
Yeah, well, next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I set you up. But and then, as far as see where it's kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
So what I do is I go down, see how, and I give them all a little crimp. And you don't even notice it. But see how it draws that right up?
Yeah.
So that's all you do is just give them a little crimp as you walk down. Oh, hey, if this one's just straight on, grab a straight staple and do this one. All right. And that one won't be as hard for you. All right, so what happens to fences that messes it up? Well, the bulls come through on each side, and when they're after each, they just walk right through like it's spaghetti. And then it breaks the fence, and then you have to put it back together. So that's what we're working on right now. Plus, you know, the post can let go. You know, a little wear and tear is normal. But this is all bull damage. That's bull crap, man.
While he learns to do this, and just know, I know that he is struggling, and but I let him struggle, and that's all part two of the training. Listen, I didn't hire a 30-year-old man here to help me run the fence. This young man called me and asked me for a job. And when a young man asks you for a job and you got help, you hire him and you take the time to teach him. And that's your job as an older fella, to do that. And it wasn't his mama who asked, or his grandmom, or anything else. It was this young man trying to make his way in the world with the first job. And this is a heck of a first job, let me tell you. I got so many things to do. The first video I shot with him, he was doing the mud, the concrete.
Found some sandburrs, I bet you.
Yep.
All right. Almost looks good. All right, that was actually about 50 foot, a really bad fence. Strands missing, retaining wires gone, staples out. There's a staple out. Let's go down in the middle and I'll walk down and drive that missing staple. You grab all them yellow reflectors while I do that. And every one of the little bit. Gatlin found weird bugs. I've never seen them before.
I don't know what they are. I think they're beetles of sorts.
A beetle of some kind. Well, we are removing their. You're being evicted. Y'all getting evicted. Get out from behind.
Oh, here's another torn piece of fence.
Yeah, so what I'll do is cut that off and wrap it around and nail it. Good catch. But you see why they're bad for the animals? Imagine you're grazing a cow in the middle of the night. You get that in your eyeball.
Take a minute and remember the man that hired you the first time, and how old were you? And if you're in farm country, you might have started working, I don't know, like me. I was baling hay, probably around 12 years old, but I had jobs before that, mowing the lawn, things like that. And I think I made a dime a bale, throwing them up on the truck. And I was a little dude. They were 80 pounds, just like Gatlin here with the mud yesterday and doing all this work for me today. But you can see his value. He's still cutting my time in half with all of the, we ran down, got all them reflectors, all the running. He has value right now.
Well, Gatlin's looking for the next broken strand. So many of these were missing their ties that I decided to walk down. Let's see. Already you found a broken strand?
One right there on the bottom.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
And there's one on the left over here on top.
On top. These bottom ones, I'm just gonna wrap around, try to make tight and wrap around. Well, this one's actually broken twice. What happens to these, besides being close to the ground, is they get caught by the mower decks, you know? And then they get snapped off. Yeah, good eye. The ones I can fix, I'll try to fix. Ones like this that are just all rusted away, I don't see any point in it.
Well, not only were you responsible for hiring them at first, but they are, and what their experiences are. But let them use you as a reference so that they get in not only page. So I'm not paying them as little as I can. I'm paying them a man's wage. But also I want him to use me as a job reference. When you're a job reference for somebody, your job when somebody calls you isn't to play the devil's advocate and to say good and bad about the young man you've helped. Your job is to prop him up. And, you know, anything that a young man needs to learn, he can learn on the job. But you're going to talk like here, where Gatlin is totally focused on helping me. He's there ahead of me quite frequently. That's the skill set that you're after. He's working hard. He's focused. We're 2 hours into building here, fencing. Fencing is the boringest, cuttingest, hardest little job in the entire world, and it's Texas hot. And Gatlin's right there. That's the kind of things you say when somebody uses you for a job reference for a young person. You focus on the strengths that breaks to young people. Let them wander around a little bit. Let them, give them a bit of time. But also when you're a job reference, make sure it's a solid reference. Or don't even offer. So I mentioned earlier that Gatlin called me, asked me for that job. Well, I don't want to babysit somebody. I don't want their mama calling. Well, let's take a look now at Gatlin. I'll run him full speed at the end of the day. Here he is on a post without my help, without my intervention, and he is doggedly determined on each one of these posts. Sure, he doesn't have a 240-pound man swing like I do, but I got, 40 years of experience beyond him. Don't expect people to be at your experience level. Give them that grace where they can figure things out, and give them the time. Don't sit there over their shoulder and helicopter them and micromanage. Every post that Gatlin runs into, he just gets better at doing what he needs to do for that particular job. And, this is an hour and a half into him driving post. And I enjoy hearing him make man noises when he gets up off the ground, like, ooh. It cracks me up. So and then I don't feel so old. Having a young person around is just as good for me as it is for him to be around. Now, I've got a couple other fellas that come out that are in their 30s, and then Franz is elderly. He's retired. So them old cowboys come out and help me too. I say I'm a solo builder, but the fact of the matter is I could use a full-time young man like Gatlin. I got to go pick him up. He doesn't have his driver's license yet. So why am I letting him drive my stuff around? One, he can't hurt anybody. And two, I got a regulator on that UTV. He could not go 70 miles an hour. Will he make mistakes on it? Well, I hope not. But that is the nature of being a kid. You remember when you were a kid, and you treat kids better than somebody misused you. You make sure you don't misuse some other kid. Your job is to help young men get off the ground and be excited about work and be excited about earning money. Don't cheat them. Don't underpay them just because you're training them too, right? Let them get excited. It doesn't cost you nothing out of your own pocket anymore. And looky here, this young man, first day on the job, I'm telling you, he cut my workload in half. In concrete, when he did that job yesterday, he was a full-sized man. And by the end of the day, he's a cowboy here. Each one of these posts takes him 20 minutes. But tippity-tap, he just stays at it till he gets the job done. And you saw me in the background. I wired up 3, 4, 5 other posts. But I didn't have to drive a single nail. So he's taking care of all that himself. And I'm really enjoying that. We're getting towards the end of this run, and this run was on both sides. It's 3/10 of a mile, so the full run is a little over a half a mile of fencing, and I'll tell you what, that'll wear you out. He stayed positive. He stayed focused. You put your knee in sandburrs, and he stepped in fire ants. Texas is mean, y'all, and to have a young man out there helping me really made me happy. The whole day went a lot faster for me. Listen, I get tired running fences too, and they are a heck of a job. So to have somebody out there that I could talk with, this bottom line that he's fiddling with, pulling them out of the dirt, I'm not sure about 5-strand barbed wire with one just a couple inches off the ground. But I appreciate Gatlin. Glad to help. Glad to have him working. This big boy right there. That's a fence wrecker, everybody. I have seen him come through this fence after another bull, and then when he knocked that bull down, he sat on it to kill it and drained it out of all of its energy. He did, as soon as he put his 2,000 plus pounds on. Anyway, that guy, when he wants to walk through a fence doesn't mean anything to him. He just goes right through it. So he'll come through my lane and then fight the bull on that side. So the bull on that side's a young one now, but it used to be an older one who ran the show. Romo was his name. And he had horns, and I thought for sure this guy wouldn't win. He came through and whipped old Romo. Moo! I saw 2 out, and so I only brought 2 staples. Turned out that it was 6 out. So here I am. I had to walk back and get staples. And I don't need no more practice walking. I know how to do that real well. That's what I did. Gave myself practice walking. That's it, young one. We did it.
Yay.
Next time you come out, we'll do another little bit. And that way we won't be doing all the, you know, I get tired of that. You sure you don't need a cowboy hat?
I don't want a cowboy hat.
You don't want a cowboy up, huh?
Huh?
You don't want a cowboy up, huh? All right. Well, you got hair, an old guy like me. And the sun just melts my bald little head. All right, we're done, right? I mean, how come
If I walked down this and pulled each strand, I'd find wires missing. I'll do that after I fix everything out. But look how good, much better that looks. I mean, we had wires crisscrossed, over the top, crap on the rails. Man, that looks so much better. All right, let me get his thoughts. Well, let's go. You gotta be able to see our own face.
Yeah.
All right, Gatlin, what do you think about fencing?
It's pretty easy.
What?
It just takes a while.
It does take a while.
It takes a while, but it's not difficult. Anyone can do it, really.
You know that old song, Desperado? You've been out riding fences for way too long?
I do
No.
not.
All right, well, that generational gap there. But listen, out riding fences is a big deal. Imagine you were a cowboy at King Ranch, which is the size of Rhode Island.
Good Lord.
Oh my God, every day would be fence day.
Yeah.
Every day. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this thing up. We did, let's see, a little over, I'm going to guess that's 3/10. So we did a little over a half mile of fence repair. I've got 1.2 miles around the outside. Then I'm going to guess another couple of miles going up and down. So there's plenty of fence to do between now and Judgment Day. All right, like, subscribe, follow us along. I hope you learned a little bit about fencing today. Bye. So I told Gatlin to go do a 3-point turn, and he's never driven UTV, so he doesn't even know what that is. Go down that guy's driveway, pull in and back out.